Hello. I have been at the beach all day and I wanted to make a video quick to tell you guys about how I use AAdvantage miles and give you some better ways to use AAdvantage miles that I'm aware of, and also to talk a little bit about this Boeing 737MAX thing. So first, I am not in Wisconsin, which is where I'm from. I'm in Florida. So I have a lot of miles accumulated on American Airlines, mostly because my husband and I took advantage of some double dip credit card deals back when US Air was merging with American. So we haven't used any of those miles because American doesn't really fly to and from the places that we mostly like to go. And if they do, the routes are not as good as other airlines, and the deals, even using miles, are not as good as something on like United or Delta usually. So I finally had the chance to use some of those miles. In fact, I used 85,000 miles to get myself and my travel partner here. And the way that breaks down is it was 12,500 miles per person for our outgoing flights, and then 30,000 miles per person for our return flights. Things I didn't know are that American Airlines charges a $75 per person fee for booking less than 21 days in advance. I booked 17 days in advance. So the taxes and carrier imposed fees that you'll see on any kind of awards redemption on any airline are usually $5.60 per person, but sometimes they are $11.20 per person. It just depends on the flight, and you have to check that as you're booking things. So turns out I got ripped off there too, because our flights ended up getting us the $11.20 fee. On top of the $75 fee for being less than 21 days. American Airlines has 9 different boarding groups, and in fact, if you dig a little deeper, they actually, in practice, have 11 boarding groups. So my travel partner and I ended up in group 6, which is supposedly reserved for general boarding. Unfortunately, even though I'm an AAdvantage credit card member, I didn't qualify for group 5, which is what that's listed under. And honestly, it wouldn't have made much difference because there were like no people in group 5. So my travel partner and I were seated separately on our first flight, which normally it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but this flight was particularly rough on its way, like on its approach. We were like swaying back and forth and like up and down a lot, and the 2 people next to me ended up throwing up, which triggered my old flying anxiety. So I was having a borderline, not even a borderline, I was having a panic attack on the way down. It would have helped. It would have been nice to be next to somebody that I knew. So we'll see how our return flights go. I can tell you that on the first flight they have already assigned our seats, and that we're in the same row, but we're on completely separate ends of the plane where there's 3 seats and 3 seats on each side. The second flight looks to be overbooked, and there's no availability to even pay for an upgraded seat, so we haven't been assigned seats. So on the other hand, after talking about kind of my not so stellar experience using American Airlines AAdvantage miles, I want to tell you about something that a family member of mine did, who actually is in Japan right now. They got 2 round-trip tickets in business class on Japan Air using AAdvantage miles. Look it up. Business class and first class on Japan Air are very similar, and both are amazing. They got that for $100, and that's in taxes and fees per person, and 100,000 miles each, and this is round trip. So the cash value of this was almost $15,000 per person. They also had first class lounge access while they waited for their flight, and just have had a great experience so far, and we'll see how their return flights are. So there are great ways to use AAdvantage miles. I just didn't take advantage of it because I simply needed a quick beachy vacation and didn't want to pay full price for it. The rest of the trip hasn't been great though, however. I mean, this is our Airbnb. It has been super amazing. There's this little doggy named Ginger that's hanging out here. We've been to the beach every day. It's been beautiful, perfect weather. Everything's been great here. So lastly, I just want to comment about the 737MAX fiasco. This is a story I've been paying attention to as it's starting to unfold, and the most recent thing I actually heard was that Boeing decided to put newer, more efficient engines on planes where these engines didn't fit. and like they didn't fit in the existing engine space. And so today I was reading an article that actually said, I'm going to read this because I want to quote it perfectly. Committing to putting a new engine that didn't fit on the plane was the corporate version of the Fyre Festival's "let's just do it and be legends, man" moment, and it not surprisingly wound up leading to a slew of engineering and regulatory problems. So anyway, stay off those 737MAXs for a while. Hopefully they get it all worked out, and for all of you that are traveling over spring break, I hope you have safe travels. I hope you're having a great time, and I hope you're somewhere that's warm. Check the links in the description if you're interested in getting any cards that I can recommend to you. I have all of my referral links there, and I appreciate it so much if you use those, because I do get bonus miles if you use my link and you're approved for the card. So anyway, this is a new style of recording I'm doing. My 15-year-old daughter told me that I should do it vlog style, so that's what we're doing today. And I've also been at the beach all day, and so I look like this. Anyway, I will be back to you next time with my second quarter strategy for 2019. Thanks, everyone.